Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. And today we are going to be tackling the DISC personality model.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I've got to say, I am pretty pumped about this one.
Well,
We have got some really interesting sources to unpack, starting with this book, Peace, Joy, and Happiness at Work
okay.
by Dr. Mark Weifel. I mean, who wouldn't want a little more of that in their lives,
Well, it's an
right?
intriguing title for sure.
Yeah.
Workplace stress is a huge issue, and Dr. Weifel seems to be tackling it head on.
He absolutely is. And to make things even more interesting, we'll also be weaving in some fascinating excerpts about chameleons.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Stick with us. The connection to DISC will become clear.
Right.
Now, you might already have some knowledge of DISC, but as a quick refresher, it's all about understanding different behavioral styles. It categorizes people into four main types: dominant, intuitive, steady, and conscientious, each associated with the color: red, yellow, green, and blue.
The beauty of DISC is that it's simple on the surface, but it can unlock some really powerful insights into how we communicate and interact with others, especially at work. It's like having a decoder ring for human behavior.
Okay, so let's dive deeper into Dr. Weifel's take on DISC. The model was actually developed back in the 1920s by William Marston, the same guy who invented the lie detector test.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a fascinating figure. Marston was clearly interested in understanding what makes people tick, how our emotions and motivations drive our behavior,
Yeah, for sure.
and that's where DISC comes in. Marston identified these four basic personality types, DISC, and they really do cover a spectrum of how we approach the world.
It's like a map of human behavior.
Yeah.
And just like a map helps you navigate a new city, DISC can help you navigate the complexities of interpersonal relationships.
So let's break down these personality types, starting with the dominant or D type. They're the go-getters, the leaders, the ones who thrive on challenge. Think red, like a powerful engine driving things forward.
It makes sense.
Then there are the intuitives or I types. They're the social butterflies, always brimming with ideas and enthusiasm. Picture them as yellow, like a bright sunbeam illuminating possibilities.
And then we have the steady, or S types, the reliable rocks, the peacemakers who value harmony and collaboration. Imagine them as green, like a calming forest, bringing balance.
And lastly, the conscientious or C types. These folks are all about accuracy, precision, and attention to detail. Think blue, like precise blueprints ensuring order and precision.
I think it's fascinating how these colors actually do reflect the energy of each style.
Me too. It's like a visual shorthand for understanding those core personality traits. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Weifel emphasizes that DISC isn't about putting people in rigid boxes. It's about recognizing patterns, not slapping on permanent labels.
Exactly. It's a tool for better communication, not a definitive judgment on someone's character. It's about understanding that everyone has their own unique style and that there's no one right way to be.
And get this, only 5% of people have one dominant DISC style. Most of us are blends, which the book breaks down further into 16 mixed types.
Isn't that fascinating? It means that most of us aren't just red or blue, but a unique combination of colors. And Dr. Weifel goes into detail about these mixed types later on, even using examples like Donald Trump and Bill Gates. We'll get to those later.
Ooh, I'm already intrigued. But before we jump ahead, let's talk about natural versus adapted profiles, which Dr. Weifel emphasizes.
Okay.
This idea of how we behave unconsciously versus when we're putting on a work face.
That's such a crucial point.
Right.
We all adapt our behavior to some extent, depending on the situation. The question is, how much energy are we expending to maintain that adapted profile?
That's a great question. I mean, think about it. You might be naturally outgoing and talkative, but in a formal meeting, you might dial back that energy and become more reserved and focused.
Right. And if we're constantly trying to be someone we're not, it can lead to stress, burnout, and a feeling of inauthenticity.
So how can we tell if someone is operating in their natural versus adapted zone? Are there telltale signs we can look out for?
Well, that's where careful observation comes in. Look for inconsistencies between someone's usual demeanor and their behavior in specific situations. Do they seem less energetic or enthusiastic than usual? Are they holding back opinions or ideas? Those could be signs they're adapting, perhaps to fit in or meet certain expectations.
It's like they're wearing a mask, so to speak.
Right.
But why is it so important to understand this difference between natural and adapted behavior? What's the practical implication for us, the listeners?
Well, for one, it helps us be more understanding and empathetic. We realize that people might not always be showing their true selves, and that their behavior might be influenced by external factors. It encourages us to look beyond the surface and try to understand the motivations behind their actions.
That's a great point. It's like we're all navigating a complex social dance, trying to find the right steps and rhythm for each situation.
Exactly. And DISC can be the choreographer, helping us understand those steps and rhythms. It can help us communicate more effectively, reduce conflict, and build stronger relationships, both personally and professionally.
So DISC is like a secret weapon for navigating the workplace. I like the sound of that.
It can be. And Dr. Weifel makes a very compelling case for its practical value. He argues that ineffective communication is a major source of stress at work, and he backs it up with some pretty startling statistics.
Oh, tell me about it. I think we've all experienced those frustrating moments when we just can't seem to get our point across. But what kind of statistics are we talking about here? Paint a picture for us.
Well, according to Dr. Weifel's research, a whopping 75% of Americans find their boss to be the most stressful part of their workday.
Wow, 75%. That's a lot of people dreading those interactions.
It is. And it's not just a minor annoyance. A significant portion of the workforce, around 40% of U.S. employees, actually report feeling stressed at work on a regular basis.
That's concerning. Stress can have a ripple effect impacting not just our work life, but our overall well-being.
Absolutely. And that's where understanding DISC can be a game changer. It can help us tailor our communication style to reduce conflict and stress, create a more harmonious work environment, and even boost productivity.
Okay, I'm seeing the light. So how do we actually apply DISC to real-life situations? Give us some concrete examples.
Well, Dr. Weifel provides a great example of how to approach a numbers-oriented boss, likely a D or C type, when you're feeling overworked. He suggests framing your concerns in a way that resonates with their priorities using clear, data-driven points.
So instead of just saying, I'm overwhelmed, you might present a case highlighting the impact of the workload on deadlines or efficiency.
Precisely. By speaking their language, you're more likely to get your message across and find a solution that works for everyone.
Okay, I'm starting to see how DISC can be a powerful tool. But you mentioned something earlier about chameleons. How do they fit into all of this?
Well, this is where things get really interesting. Remember, chameleons are masters of adaptation, changing color for both camouflage and communication.
Right. They blend in, stand out, or send specific signals to achieve their goals.
Exactly. And just like chameleons, we can adapt our colors, our communication style, depending on the situation. It's about recognizing who we're interacting with and adjusting our approach accordingly.
It's like having a communication toolkit and knowing which tool to use for each job.
I love that analogy. And this adaptability is becoming increasingly important in today's world, which is characterized by what Dr. Weifel calls VUCA.
VUCA, what's that all about?
VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. It's a framework for understanding the rapidly changing, unpredictable world we live in.
Okay, that definitely sounds like the world we're living in, but how does VUCA connect to DISC and chameleons?
Well, in a VUCA world, adaptability is no longer a nice-to-have skill. It's essential. And DISC can help us develop that adaptability by giving us the framework to understand different communication styles, and the chameleon excerpts provide practical tips on how to adjust our approach.
So it's like DISC provides the map, and the chameleon tips give us the vehicle to navigate that map.
Exactly. And to dive into those practical tips, let's revisit those chameleon excerpts. What stood out to you?
Well, those chameleon excerpts were packed with actionable advice. One that really stuck with me was the idea of outlining solutions when faced with a challenge. It's so easy to get swept up in the chaos of a difficult situation. But taking a moment to brainstorm potential solutions can make a world of difference.
It's like hitting the pause button before reacting. It allows us to move from a place of stress and overwhelm to a more proactive and solution-oriented mindset.
Exactly. And it reminds me of that classic advice, measure twice, cut once. Taking a moment to plan and strategize can save us a lot of headaches down the road.
For sure, for sure. And along with outlining solutions, the excerpts emphasized the importance of seeking support.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to reach out to colleagues, mentors, or even friends and family for advice and perspective.
We don't have to go it alone. Sometimes just talking through a problem with someone else can help us see things more clearly.
Yeah, it's like having a sounding board. Bouncing ideas off someone else can spark new insights and solutions we might not have considered on our own.
That's so true. And speaking of support, another key takeaway from the chameleon excerpts was the idea of accepting setbacks as learning opportunities. We all make mistakes, but it's how we handle those setbacks that defines us.
Resilience is key in a VUCA world. Instead of viewing setbacks as failures, we can reframe them as valuable lessons that help us grow and adapt.
It's like that saying, fall 7 times, stand up 8.
Exactly. And this leads us to perhaps the most challenging but also the most rewarding tip from the chameleon excerpts, leaving our comfort zones.
Now that's where the real growth happens. It's like those chameleons constantly adapting and changing to fit their environment. We can apply that same principle to our own lives by seeking out new challenges, trying different approaches, and pushing ourselves beyond our perceived limitations.
It's about embracing change, uncertainty, and the unknown. It's about developing a growth mindset that allows us to constantly learn, evolve, and adapt.
And that brings us back to DISC. By understanding different communication styles, we're essentially expanding our comfort zones. We're learning to speak different languages, which allows us to connect with a wider range of people.
It's like building a bridge between our world and theirs, and that bridge is paved with understanding empathy and a willingness to adapt.
So DISC is more than just a personality model. It's a roadmap for building stronger relationships, reducing conflict, and creating a more harmonious and fulfilling work life.
Beautifully put. And to tie it all back to Dr. Weifel's book, Peace, Joy, and Happiness at Work, is not just a catchy title, it's an achievable goal.
I love that. So before we wrap up this deep dive, let's leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question. Dr. Weifel talks about how understanding DISC helped him see past experiences in a new light. I want to challenge you, dear listener, to do the same.
Ooh, I like it.
Think back to a difficult work situation you faced. A clash with a colleague, a misunderstanding with your boss, a project that went sideways. Now imagine you had DISC knowledge back then.
Okay.
How might understanding those different communication styles have changed the outcome? What signals might you have missed? How could you have adapted your communication style to create a more harmonious result?
It's a powerful exercise in reflection and growth. And it highlights how DISC can not only help us navigate future interactions, but also make sense of past experiences.
And if you're feeling inspired to dive deeper into DISC, we'll be sure to link to some helpful resources in the show notes, along with other deep dives we've done on related topics like emotional intelligence and effective communication.
Because knowledge is power. The more we understand about ourselves and others, the better equipped we are to navigate the complexities of the workplace and beyond.
Couldn't agree more. And I think the biggest takeaway from all of this is that DISC, combined with that chameleon-like adaptability, isn't just about reducing stress or avoiding conflict. It's about unlocking a whole new level of connection, understanding, and fulfillment in our interactions with others.
It's about creating a world where peace, joy, and happiness at work are not just a dream, but a reality we can all achieve.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder your own DISC style and how you can use it to create a more harmonious and fulfilling work life. Until next time, keep diving deep.